Okay, welcome everyone to our second innovation workshop of Genesis 2023. Today's discussion will be around advancing innovation through clusters. And we're delighted to be hosting this in collaboration with CEBR and some of the wonderful members of CEBR too. So before I hand you over to Anais, I'm just going to run through some quick housekeeping points. So if you don't mind keeping microphones on mute, that would be great. Just a reminder that this session is being recorded and it will be made available after the session. We have closed captions enabled if you do require that accessibility. And finally, we like these sessions to be engaging. So if you have any questions or comments that you would like to put to our panel, please do so via the chat box and we'll do our best to pick those up at the end of the session. So with that, I hope you enjoy and I will hand you over to Anais.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. So thank you very much, Jasmine and One Nucleus for inviting us to talk about how we drive innovation in clusters, or maybe how can we not drive innovation, because that's what we do. That's the core of the cluster business, and that's what my colleagues and members of CEBR are going to talk about. I'm the facilitator of this session. So CEBR, just for the quick note, is the Council of European Bioregions. We're a member-driven association of clusters and bioregions all across Europe. One Nucleus is a member, actually one of the founding members. And we're about, I would say now, getting to almost 50 members to start 2024. So it's a good representation. Clusters all across Europe, different size, different ways, different, let's say, areas sometime in life science, but all of them, I would say, are completely dedicated to supporting and driving innovation in their regional ecosystem, but then European-wide, and by Europe, I mean all Europe. So today, the idea is that you get a nice presentation of 4 different clusters. So we have Biocat with Montse, Daban. Ariane and Doischer here is representing BioM in Munich. Then Sauro, Vicini is representing the Emilia-Romagna Life Science Cluster, and Alexis Biton is representing Genopole. So it's actually a very nice, let's say, way of shooting out our different members all across Europe. And with no further ado, what I will ask them is to make their presentation. So make your case about how you drive innovation in your region, and then we can have a discussion. And as Jasmine said, please don't hesitate to ask any questions. I will take the chat as well, but it's very important that this is an interactive, innovative session. So with no further ado, Montse, Daban from Biocat, the floor is yours.
Thank you. Thank you very much for organizing this and for gathering us today to speak about the clusters and how we promote innovation in our ecosystem, how we play with that. So I have some slides to share. I guess I can do that, but Jasmine, I don't know if you got them. I can do that anyway.
Yep, happy for you to drive the slides if you're happy with that, Montse. Or
I can do that. I can do that by myself. Yeah, no worries. I can do that, no problem. So I'm gonna just share the screen if I'm allowed. Let me just jump to that. Okay, so it's supposed to be this one. If it's okay, you might see it now. So the question was advancing innovation through clusters. And I'd like to say, let me just see if it works. Okay, so this is, so it was too fast. So this is life sciences and health innovation ecosystem in Catalonia, which is called the bioregion, and Biocat is the organization that since 2006 is promoting this sector from a public and private perspective. We are a non-membership fee-based organization. We work connected to the ecosystem and the policymakers. So that's the first important thing from our perspective, which is the origin of the organization and also how we deal with the stakeholders in general. So we have like this an ecosystem that is quite to a great extent based around Barcelona. So this might be like a 10 kilometers radius around Barcelona, but you have pretty much the main partners here, the investors, the hub and ecosystem supporters like Biocat, but others that have been created since 2006. and also some research centers, big, large infrastructures like the Barcelona Supercomputing Center, hospitals, because from our perspective, clusters are in healthcare, at least, mainly in healthcare, are also meant to be quite broad, including hospitals, SMEs, larger companies, multinationals. So this is our perspective of a cluster, and this is how we deal with the ecosystem. A little bit of all the different players in place. So science parks also in universities. In broad figures, we have mostly, like I said, concentrated in Greater Barcelona, and we have this sector that represents as a whole 8.7% of Catalonia's GDP, which is not bad. And regarding other innovative industries in Catalonia, this is quite well positioned, but it's a sector that is divided in biotech, pharma, and medtech, digital health, and then, of course, services and suppliers, investors, and then all the public side of it, the research, the centers, universities, etc. It has been growing in investment. It is growing in VCs, local and international VCs dedicated to this sector. And for the last 10 years, an average of creation of companies, we say that it's 1 new per week. So this is quite a broad and quite a mature ecosystem that we've been around. For Biocat, the question on how we deal with the needs of companies and the challenges and how we've evolved in these 16 years, 17 actually. Initially, we saw that talent funding, tech transfer, adoption, and scaling up was mostly the main concern for many of the cluster organizations like ours at the beginning, like almost 20 years ago. But more and more, we see that this needs from after the pandemics, but the new policies at EU level, the framework in which we see that the twin transition, digital and sustainable, this strategic autonomy or tech independence, you call it how you want, social impact in everything we do, the resilience and the talent is necessary to have them in place. This is more or less our ecosystem. The international sphere for us is very important with CEBR, ECA, like Anais mentioned, but other stakeholders in the sector. And then the needs and trends of our industries, this recovery in value chain, digitalization, advanced therapies, etc. So this is our playground, and this is where we try to have big projects like this one, in which we try to support the adoption of innovation from the knowledge generation and the patient market. So our role is trying to connect all the stakeholders to accomplish like a shared vision for the region. And we've been building that for the adoption of innovation or for other large projects that we have. We do it through accelerating talent and business, to connecting the ecosystem among the players, but also internationally, potentialities of the ecosystem abroad, and connecting to other players in Europe, mainly to accomplish what we do with our projects. We also potentiate the innovation in our region and building the pipeline of what we have in-house. So it's everything that we are like tracking the advancement of the different therapies in clinical development in Catalonia, just mainly oncology, and these areas are important in our place, but how they advance, and we sell this as a whole in the partnering events without equity on that, just because we just promote the bioregion. So this is a strong asset that we have. And we also have a portal dedicated for that, to connect the companies and the potential investors everywhere in the world. And particularly on advanced therapies, we also see that they are advancing fast, they are growing fast. Many hospitals and healthcare research institutes have their technology developed in that regard. So this is also becoming strong in the region. But we also are following the pipeline for health tech. This comes more from a survey, the other one from an actual desk research on what happens in the region. And we see that medical devices stand on this area, that many are in development, and there's not a high turnover of those companies, but this is pretty much how it is organized in terms of medical devices, hardware, software, other, and then in vitro hardware. So this is the different types of the pipeline that we have in medical devices. This is just for interest, and very happy to offer more on that. But what can we do for all of them? So we happen to ask for the different things we provide, or the different services we provide to the ecosystem. We asked which are the services that they value the most. And for example, they are very happy with this bioregion reporting, which gather information and intelligence. We have the team in-house, the business intelligence team gathering information. So they value that as a very positive for the sector. Having the website with the interviews, blog, the success cases, that is really valued, also the press clipping. And they want this visibility and projection that the cluster organization provides, or networking and connections, the directory that we have in the website for everybody, find partners, debate, etc. So this is what we can do for them. Probably they value less some other programs that have come just a little bit old on that regard. So it's good to always renew what we are providing. So that's why we ask them, what's next? So what do you want from us? And they, of course, need access to private funding. This is, you cannot see the whole line of that, but we can provide that for you. International connections, they value that very much. Spaces for meeting for the ecosystem. And this is a little bit of everything. So amazingly, or surprisingly, or not very happily found that they don't need supporting green transition in general, or digital transition in general. So it means that probably these challenges have not arrived yet to the ecosystem, but we think we totally go for it. And when we perform on another project a study on what are clusters doing for their ecosystems, depending, I mean, it doesn't matter if they're leader, strong, moderate, or emerging, most of them perform this community building role and support the development of entrepreneurship. So these are things that are good to mention also, for the sake of what do clusters do for the ecosystem they try to work with. I would like to mention that more and more we try to see which is the impact of what we do. So for those services that I shared with you, it's important to see if those have a direct impact, probably in 5-year time, or we can assess what happened in the previous years. And if what we did not have the impact we expected, it's important to discontinue that activity and probably perform other ones. So we try to also see, we are very well aware of what happens abroad, and we like to see what other clusters do. This is why, and we intended to see, okay, if we are working in healthcare policies, funding, innovation, talent, which is the actual impact according to the activities. And then we performed our assessment according to inputs, activities, outputs, outcome, and impact. And we see, for example, that we need to improve. This is very useful to see. A cluster organization, under our perspective, needs to do this to see, okay, probably have to improve some of the activities if I just want to reach, sorry, the impact in funding that I have expected. So this is a little bit of our concerns. I wanted to share that with you, because for us, more and more, it's important to work in this framework, the logical framework of the impact. And again, this is our asset assessment. So we, through EU funding, we can tell our story, the kind of projects we endeavored at the beginning, and the number of projects we are involved now. We think that for us, it's very important to align our activities to the main concerns at EU level. We are very happy that we have also the possibility to collaborate again with organization in the UK, in Horizon Europe. So very welcome to collaborate on all that regard. Some examples, it's, for example, we have partners in projects, but when you come to the actual number, being in networks like CEBR or Scambal multiplies the number of players that you have. So it is important to work in network all together. And I'm going just to finish with a couple of ideas on that regard. For example, what do partnerships for us are very important to also transfer the benefits to our players, facilitate these transferring practices from region to region, and these innovations that are in the ecosystem are more easily scaled up if across Europe, if we share them with these partnerships, challenges and solutions all together. So this is what we also focus quite much doing. And I'm just going to share here the words of a good partner of us. It is not in this panel today, but I like very much this word, we need to play more jazz together. So these trust-based and outcome-oriented ecosystems for design with transformation really have to rely on the collaboration among different clusters. And I think that this activity we are doing today is a huge interest, and I think it's very much welcome for us and for all the partners that we are here today. So I'm going to stop here. I think I can stop sharing here. I don't know actually how. Yeah, here's the end. And thank you for your attention. Thank you for that.
Thank you very much, Montse. Just a quick question, if there's any question from the audience, because I know you have to leave not too late. So if any maybe questions, urgent question from the audience, and if not, I'll pass on to the next speaker. So
it's fine, and if not, I can have them by email and answer anything
absolutely
later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Montse, for joining. Okay, so next on the spot, now I have a doubt. Is it Ariane or Sauro? Who wants to be first? Because in the agenda I was a little
right. Yeah, I was not sure if we switched, but Sauro, if you don't mind, I would just simply go next.
Of course. So please, Ariane, we're listening to the BioM side of things.
Thank you so much. Let me quickly share my screen. I also have
Sure.
a few slides. All right. So I'm not quite sure if you see it in the right mode or if I should have to switch.
You might want to switch because we see the presenter mode of this moment.
See. Okay.
Yes, that's
good. Work now.
Yeah.
Right. Thank you so much, Anais. Yeah, a quick introduction on the Bavarian biotech community from my side. My name is Ariane Doischer. I'm International Relations Manager at BioM, the Bavarian Biotech Cluster Development Organization. So at BioM, what is our vision? We want to make Bavaria the place for the medicine of the future. And we do this by creating a unique ecosystem in biotech and medicine to accelerate innovation, the topic of today's session, of course, but also growth and value creation in Bavaria. And what I would like to do is quickly introduce BioM, what we are, and also focus on our activities in order to advance this innovation within our Bavarian cluster. So BioM is a nonprofit organization funded by the state of Bavaria. We have been connecting life science players for more than 25 years already, since 1997. And our main goal is to represent Bavarian biotechnology worldwide. We want to attract international investors, but also partners from industry, academia, pharma, and clinics. We also have a strong emphasis on supporting startups and SMEs, as well as providing coaching for founders. And what we've newly established is an incubator space, especially for pre-seed activities. We call it Maxwell Munich Accelerate Life Science and Medicine. And this is a particularly great example of how we advance innovation here in Bavaria. I would like to give more details later on. So what do we focus on BioM? What are our activities? We actually have a different kind of pillars. So the first one is knowledge base and pathfinder. What we do is we provide for our companies an extensive database so they can be present on our website, on our report. So anyone who's interested in the Bavarian biotech community have information on all of the companies that we have within our cluster. We also provide an online job market and lab finder. We figured out these are some of the topics that Bavarian companies are actually interested in or have a really great need for this. So we have also established this sort of platform for them. And also we provide any kind of consulting services. Another emphasis on networking. So we try to be in touch with Bavarian companies and biotech community in order to find out what are they interested. Montse also explained this for their class. So we are doing the same. We always want to know what is going on, what are they working on, what kind of, can we provide a service, can we provide a workshop in order to help them with their particular topics that they're dealing and struggling with at the moment. Speaking of networking, we also connect our community with world-renowned experts and facilitate the exchange with all the players. So we have industry, academia, clinics, and politicians, and especially the politicians quite particular for BioM that we're funded by the state of Bavaria. So we have actually direct connection to the politicians here locally in Bavaria. Another emphasis of BioM activities are on news and information. So we want to make sure that not only we, but also our community is well aware of what is going on within the Bavarian biotech community. So we want to know what are the trending topics, what are recent developments, what is there new companies founding, are there new collaborations that any company is seeking for. So we really want to spread this information within our community. And we do this by providing an annual biotech report, which is a comprehensive overview of all of these topics, but also all of our companies can be represented within this biotech report. So this is a matter of like providing our companies, especially the small and medium-sized companies and startups, a particular platform to show their company, gain more presence within our community. We also do this on a regular basis. So we have newsletters, daily coverage via online channels, press conference, podcasts. Another team is also working on the marketing side. So we also, in addition to this news and information pillar, we also provide dedicated BioM advertising platforms where companies have their tailor-made individual packages for their own representation, but we also are present at exhibitions, conferences worldwide in order to present the Bavarian biotech community itself in the whole at these events and to the whole worldwide network of biotech. Speaking of events, we also have our own events where we host here in Bavaria. So we had the Forum Science and Health every 2 years, which is like the place to be for the Bavarian biotech community to understand what are the topics within Bavaria, what are companies working on, what were recent developments in the biotech field. And we will do this again next year, probably rebranded, and it will also happen probably every year. So we also extended this sort of service to our community and to our cluster. We also have different kind of events where companies can be present, such as a virtual lunch talk. We can have their own event at our headquarters, which is particularly nice since we're really located in the heart of the Martin Street Hub, which is placed in Munich. So many companies are actually located within this Munich region, but I will give some more information on this later on. And last but not least, we also focus on professional networking. So we do organize roundtables, networking events to really make sure that all of the companies within our clusters have opportunities to meet each other. We have had sometimes the case that neighboring companies never spoke to each other, even though they were on the same floor. However, they eventually met at one of our events. So this is one way of showing how we can make innovation happen, just simply by connecting with the right players. And then we also have different other activities such as career days. We have delegations coming or going abroad, and pharma days to connect startups and big pharma investors. Just to give you a short overview, so I always mention the biotech community in Bavaria, Bavaria's biotech cluster. So here this gives you a short information on what is the Bavaria's framework in terms of incubators, accelerators. It's not only a BioM, but we work closely with different support organizations such as the Innovation and Founder Center in Würzburg, the Biopark in Regensburg, or the Innovation Center in Martinsried itself. So this is also one way of really advancing innovation in the Bavarian cluster, is that it's not only located or focused on one location only, but it's a matter of really collaboration with different partners to be present in the other cities and other regions within Bavaria. And the same goes for the other side in terms of academia, research, and clinics, is that we have a couple of universities all over the area located. Of course, we have 2 excellent universities in Munich region. We want to make sure that also we have a good connection to those and really have them being part of our cluster. Speaking of our cluster, just a few numbers to give you a better feeling of what kind of a cluster it is, what size. So we have more than 500 companies within the Bavarian biotech or biopharma sector. Approximately 300 of these are actually biotech companies. And in total, they count for more than 50,000 employees. So quite a strong presence in terms of workforce. And having a short look at the drug pipeline of Bavarian biotech SMEs, we have in total 30 marketed drugs at the moment. However, we have several candidates in other phases, most of them preclinical ones. And in terms of the field, that we have a strong presence in oncology, but also autoimmune, central nervous system, cardiovascular, and infectious diseases. So what I would like to highlight here with this slide is that we have a very strong activity or emphasis on bioentrepreneurship. We have a team which is actually dedicated only for this, and you can see all kind of services that we provide in this field. And this is one particular example for how we really advance innovation within our cluster, is really like promote this bioentrepreneurship. So what we do is we have the opportunity to host several startup coaching sessions. We have more than 100 sessions per year. We have a mentor circle to connect mentors and mentees within our clusters. Again, making the connection between the right partners is one of the highlight topics. We provide them some sort of training, let's say a pitch doctor. We have a boot camp. We also make connections among bioentrepreneurs themselves with our lounge, but also with investors and bio angels within our network. Again, you can see the topic is about making the right partners connect to each other. And what is also great is we have an M4 award, so we can award every 2 years 500K to 5 teams. And last but not least, I would like to highlight the Munich Accelerator Life Science and Medicine, which we shortly call MAXL, coming in 2024. So this is the most recent example of how we advance innovation here in the Munich region. It is a startup incubator for the future of medicine and life science. What we do is we provide a high-end infrastructure really on-site in the hub of the cluster. We are accompanied by a sort of a community program, which consists of certain educational events, networking events, also integrating them within our cluster itself, integrating them within our other service portfolios, so they can always have access to not only MAXL and the incubator itself, but also to our other portfolio of services. So in total, what we are aiming for is a structured incubation process to have the best of breed pre-seed early startup teams and facilitate this partnership with other partners and stakeholders within our cluster. So we really want to facilitate this partnership with, let it be pharma, biotech, deep tech, or other industry players, as well as some strategic partners, CROs, and investors. And why this is another great example is that it's also a public-private financing model. So again, the state of Bavaria really emphasized that they want to advance innovation here in the cluster. They want to promote it, support it, and they make it through BioM, and managing this incubator here on site is really a great success. I'm very proud of having this coming up in 2024. So with this, I would like to end. I hope I did not use too much of my time. Yeah, but feel free to ask any questions afterwards.
Thank you so much, Ariane. I think it was very nice and clear because you give such a nice overview. So if there's no burning question, I hope you can stay. But in any case, then I would pass the floor to another. So is it Paris or is it Emilia-Romagna? Sauro, Alexis, who wants to go? Initially, I think it was Alexis because we did have a little switch. So
no,
Alexis.
I will let the privilege to Sauro. It's the elder privilege. I have
Oh,
to.
here you go. Okay, Sauro. So please tell us about what you do and how you drive innovation in your region. Thank you.
Okay, thank you to everybody. Yes, I would like to introduce my region. My name is Sauro Vicini. I'm from Emilia-Romagna region in Italy. So maybe you know some of our cities in our region, like Bologna for its university, or Modena for its supercar, like Ferrari, Lamborghini, or Parma for the food. But we are quite well known in Italy also for our health system, in particular for the healthcare sector. So let's say the quality of our healthcare system that is ranked as number first in Italy, and we have some very good hospitals like the Rizzoli Orthopedic Institute, that is the second orthopedic hospital in Europe. We are quite well known also for our industrial sector in the health and medtech and biotech sector, in particular for the medicine preparation, but also for the value chain of this sector, like the packaging and the electronic medical instruments and so on. So we are also well known for the Wellness Valley, which is in the sea part of the region. What about the cluster organization? So we are one of the 11 clusters that we have in our region that are, let's say, focused on the strategic sector of our smart specialization strategies. And together with the 10 technopoles that we have in our region, we are part of the region, what we call a regional innovations ecosystem that is led by and coordinated by Arthur. So we are a classical cluster organization with big companies, universities, research center, healthcare service provider, training institution, and patient association. And we work along 4 value chains that are new generation medtech and prosthetics, regenerative and reparative medicine, pharmaceuticals, economic sciences, and technologies and services for healthy and active aging. At the moment, we are 115 members, so 27 universities and labs and research centers, 46 SMEs, 15 big companies, 15 hospitals and healthcare organizations, 7 accelerators, and 5 non-profit organizations that, you know, in our case, they represent the end user of the products and services of our company. So those are very important for the, let's say, for the concept of quadruple helix of innovation. So one of our main role is the connection of our member with European stakeholders like, so, you know, the CEBR organization, but also the participation in the platform of the European Commission and the EIT Health. What we have done in the past for support the internationalization part of our members, we asked to an external advisor to say what are the most important sector of our region, and they recognize those 7 assets like the most important for the partnering with other European and international stakeholders. And those are pharma and TMP, biomedical technologies, big data and digital health, as clinical sector, orthopedics and neurosciences. And then we have nutraceuticals and animal health, because we are very well connected with our agri-food cluster. And so those are important for the cross collaboration with other important sector of the regions. 2 words about the pharma and TVMP sector. So we have several big companies, but most of them are, most companies are SMEs. We are quite well known for the first stem cell-based drug delivered by a spin-off of the University of Modena and Reggio Emilia in 2015. And then we are quite well known also for the medtech sector, because in the Mirandola area, in the province of Modena, we have this small town that it groups together 100 companies, all focused on in the medtech sector, in particular in cardiovascular and nephrology equipment. Then another important area for our companies and our research organization is the big data. And our region invested a lot of money in this big data technopole that we now have in Bologna, that is led by the Cineca Research Center. And this is one, at the moment, is the first supercomputer ranking in the top 500 ranking about supercomputers. We have a larger scope. We are not only biotech and medtech, but in our cluster we consider also the wellness part of our region, because as I said, in the eastern part of the region, close to the Adriatic Sea, we have this, that what we call the Wellness Valley, that is led by a big company like Technogym, and this is a very important sector in our region. So we are trying to connect those kind of companies with the companies that are providing more medical services and products, in order to have projects on the prevention part of the health sector, let's say. So I would like to show you a couple of projects where we are involved in, like BioMDB. This is a project related to the setup of a database and a marketplace on biomaterials. So we are now in the validation phase of the project. So we are looking for collaboration in order to make bigger this database and let's say push the technology transfer from research organization to companies. So we would like to populate this database with the let's say the entry that can comes from every companies and every research organization in Europe and abroad, and then try to have them in the technology transfer part. And another project that we have, another, let's say, topic of interest for us is the radiopharmaceutical sector. So we are now collaborating with other European cluster in Romania, Poland, and Nordic countries in order to push the development of radiopharmaceuticals for new treatment for oncology purposes. So we are now involved in a project, a European project called Secure, and an Italian project related to the recovery fund from COVID pandemic. And then the last project that I would like to show is I would like to introduce this one because it's let's say it's a fruit of collaboration inside the S3 partnership on wireless ICT, and this is related to the telemedicine and digital health application with new kind of communication like 5G, 6G, and so on. And this is a part of the new program on the new I3 program from the European Commission. So it's related to the investment of small and medium enterprises in order to push the collaboration across Europe, across borders. And my last slide is related to the new topics that we would like to push, and we are looking for collaboration in Europe. And of course, we need to mention the precision medicine. That is, of course, something that everybody is looking for. But I would like to talk also about sustainable healthcare, in particular to the sustainability, the green sustainability of the healthcare system, hospitals, companies that are producing drugs and medical products, let's say. Then digital health, of course, telemedicine and use of data and omics data. And then the last two topics are related to, let's say, the wellness part, the well-being part of and partner of our cluster, in particular on nutrition, and the one on tourism for disability and for all in that sense. So this was my last slide, and thank you to everybody for being here.
Thank you very much, Sauro, for this overview. I think it's very nice because out of, let's say, the three presentations, we have some very complementary, let's say, view on what cluster do and how you collaborate and do things together. So thank you so much for bringing that to us now. And I will pass on the floor to Alexis before we start our, let's say, we will have a bit of time to have questions and communication. So Alexis, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, Anais. Thank you, Clust, for this opportunity. I'm going to share my screen. So I guess I've got this one. All right. Okay, let's do this. Okay, so I'm Alexis Biton from Genopole. So I'm international coordinator for BioCluster located south of Paris. We represent around 80 companies, 21 research centers, and we've got one hospital, one university. The idea of this Genopole is to combine BioCluster, but also a biopark to provide support from the very first idea of entrepreneurs to the market. So from the training, the research development, supplier services, and industry. So Genopole is focusing on three main sectors. The first one are the innovative biotherapies, where we've got the gene therapies, cell therapies, and biomanufacturing. In this field, we've got on site around now, I think it's, 34 businesses, 7 laboratories, 13 platforms. The idea is to provide the environment for companies to develop, to access the equipment that they could not buy alone, and yeah, to provide them with the real estate they really need. The second one is the bioeconomy. I will not focus too much on this sector because, of course, it's not related to health. But we've got 30 businesses, 2 laboratories, and 3 platforms in this field. And finally, the computational genomics, which is 9 businesses, 6 laboratories, and 5 platforms. To be open with you, the idea of participating to CEBR is to integrate European networks that will provide opportunities for members and for ourselves. So we've got the idea of a biocluster as a catalyst for different opportunities, to try to reach the critical mass for members to be visible, to really support their activities and what they do. And so the idea is pretty much the same at the European level. So CEBR provides us with different services and elements that really help us to get more visible at the European level, but also at the international level. So I would summarize those elements that have been provided by CEBR in 4 main parts. We've got this international special dedicated group, which help us as a cluster manager to go abroad, to maybe reach other partners that we could not have by ourselves, by gaining, as I said, visibility, helping each other out. So the idea of really for Genopole to join this CEBR network is also to benefit from the different know-how of the other bioclusters. One of the also really important aspect of us joining CEBR are the benchmark, to understand how the biocluster are organizing their own activities, their work. We have been learning a lot from each other. So it was really beneficial for us and for our members to know how to understand how others are conducting their activities. So this is really something that we are looking for, and we have been really satisfied with those aspects here, collaborating with different clusters all around Europe. Another aspect is the fact that we are working in a single market. The UK joined the back Horizon Europe next year. So the idea is really to help us to find new partners for collaboration in EU projects. We've got a dedicated program for clusters such as the EIC, EIE, European Innovative Ecosystems, the I3. The idea is to really work together on some programs to apply to the call, to help us to structure and to reinforce our action and our activities. Another aspect that is really important for us to work with CEBR is the influence, to try to find and to reach out policymakers at the European, but also at the national level, to reach, as I said, the critical mass, to be able to have a voice, to be identified. So this is really something that we are working on at CEBR, and Genopole is really glad to work together with other biocluster to try to find common ground on some key question, key aspects of our work, and on health, on innovation, on economy, on industry. There are a lot of topics that the clusters can bring to the policymakers, and thanks to this collective work, we can reach out more and more policymakers. And finally, as I said, really improve our practices as cluster and our activities. We have been able to reach out and to develop new solutions thanks to to the benchmark that we have conducted with others, two others. And this is really something that I wanted to emphasize today, is that collectively we are able to really improve ourselves. And it was the aim really of CEBR at the beginning. Finally, I wanted to show you the network, because at the end, the clusters are part of different networks. They are creating their own networks to provide opportunities, as I said, to their members, so they can work better together and improve themselves, but also being able to reach out European playmakers, but also world players. Genopole has been able to create different networks which bring additional value to our activities. Again, the idea is really to not duplicate what we are already doing at our own level internally, but trying to externalize as the maximum and to reach out different players and different opportunities that we would not have been able to do alone. So I think we have been working together very well at CEBR. We are conducting and trying to improve on different working groups, our activities. As I said, and maybe Anais, you will correct me, but we have an international working groups. We have influence working group. We have bioproduction working group, and we have the last one is EU funding working group, digital also. Yeah.
Yes.
So we are covering the whole scope of a cluster activities, and this is really collectively that we can reach out our goals and meet our objectives. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Alexis, for sharing that. I think you did a great job at also explaining how we connect at CEBR. So I don't, now I have great ambassadors anyway of CEBR for all the rest. So I will ask maybe Sauro and Ariane if they can turn on their camera. I don't know if there's any specific question from the audience. I'm not seeing any in the chat as of now. I don't know, Jasmine, if you also want to join the conversation. I think the idea today, and I really thank the speakers, was to kind of talk how you do drive innovation locally, and inevitably, which I'm very happy for. This is a great way through CEBR, as explained also by Alexis, that we connect different regions, we connect the best practices, we support, let's say, then everybody supports locally with not just new ideas, because you already do, all of you, a lot of work, but I guess it supports driving innovation further. So I don't know, Jasmine, do you want to add any comment on your end? Because One Nucleus has been one of the key, let's say, partners of CEBR since the beginning. And even with Brexit for CEBR, it was always clear that UK members would stay. So we did not have this stop that we had at EU level. I think that's very important, because innovation doesn't stop by this kind of events. It has to continue. So I'm really happy that at CEBR we kept with all our UK members, and actually are adding some in the near future. But yes, Jasmine, do you want to share a little bit why this came on innovation, how we drive it?
Yeah, of course. So I mean, thank you all so much. It was really interesting to see you kind of showcase how you work in your regions. But I think for us, and some of the themes that came up today is really about that collaboration, and it's hugely valuable for us to speak to you about what works well and our challenges, and we have new ideas that come out of these conversations, which we then reinvest into our own local clusters. So I think for us, that's where we see great value, and obviously it helps with showcasing our region and increasing that visibility much further afield, which is great for us. But something that I would be really interested in hearing from the panel is what do you think is the key to success in managing a cluster? What are the kind of key elements that you need to really have?
That's a great question. I mean, obviously, they will all answer that being part of CEBR is a great key to that. But apart from that, guys, what do you think? Ariane, I don't see you, but I think you're, yeah.
Yes, I have some struggles with my video.
No worries.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, first thing, CEBR, of course. Yeah, just agree with this. yeah, it's difficult to say. Like, if I would say I know the clue, then I can, you know, make sure that everything's going right at BioM. But of course, we have our challenges as well. Overall, I think what is our key success is really be in touch on a regular basis with all our cluster members, with strategic partners within Europe, within globally, and really know what is going on, what are their particular needs and interests, and really align them with what is the agenda of the cluster itself, but also be open for any new activities, any new trending topics, and really make this collaboration work. Because I think it doesn't make sense to just sit, for example, for us in Bavaria and just do our own thing. You know, it's a matter of really collaborate on a really international level as well. And this provides value for the whole cluster itself. So it's really the key of like being informed, being in touch, and then be open for new topics and align them with new collaborations, new projects.
Thank you. Ariane, Sauro, what's your take on
Yes, I would like to say this because you know, we are quite young as a cluster, so we are just 5 years old, but we are part of the CEBR since 2 years. I'm not joking. I think we grow more in those two years than in the previous 3, because sharing the best practice that we heard from other cluster, other CEBR members, it's very important. This permits to us to avoid some errors in some case and understand what is important, learning from the others. So I think that the connection, the European connection, is one of the powerful tools that we have in order to, let's say, to grow and to permit to our members to grow, because you know, clusters are made mainly by SMEs, and for those kind of company is more important to learn themselves from others. So this is I think my biggest point in what we learn.
Thank you. And I promise I did not pay the speakers. It was a joke, but I'm really happy. Yeah, collaboration definitely is a big one. Alexis, what's your take?
Yeah, if I cash out your check next week,
Thank you. I'll give you the address.
But anyway, no, just to say that I think one of the keys is to try to bring additional value to our members, to really focus on what they cannot do by themselves. When we talk about internationalization, for instance, we know that they try to reach out other markets, depending on their level of maturity, can be hard or harder. So as cluster, we should be able to provide them with the solutions on this, with the right contacts, to make their life easier, basically, and their entrepreneurship path easier. So, of course, this is really something that we really need to focus, and how we do it, as I mentioned during my presentation, is really to by being able to reach out the right networks that will, of course, bring this additional value that we cannot do by ourselves. Don't forget that maybe in our local, at the local level, or at even our national level, we are something. But when you try to reach out at the European level, or even at the international level, it's really hard to be visible and identified. So reaching out the critical mass by joining our forces is really something really beneficial for us. Just to finish, in another example, I was talking about internationalization, but for instance, you can have the same with the equipment. If you are a young startup, you don't have the fund or the money or resources to invest in some equipment. By mutualizing it with others, we are able to help them to accelerate their growth. So mutualization is one of the key, and expanding the network and bringing opportunities is another. Yeah, I'm finished.
So much. Yeah, thank you so much. I think that that helps to understand different viewpoints, but at the end, definitely collaboration is key. At least that's what we see in CEBR and through the members. So I really think, oh, here one quick question. So from John, sorry, I'm just gonna take it before. Is there any database that connect cluster? Yes, there is. So there are, well, let's say yes, very fast, but there's a platform that is called Cluster Collaboration Platform. You can find it's the ECCP. So it maps the clusters, which helps, I guess, understanding in all type of sectors. But then if you want to get to a more in-depth in life science, I think CEBR is one of the only, let's say, that brings, that is a network like this. There are other plenty of network, but if you want to check on this ECCP platform, this cluster collaboration, you will find all the clusters across Europe. Thank you, Ariane. Yeah, to have access to all clusters across. Yeah. Okay. So I don't know if any other question, if I'm not seeing, then I want to thank Alexis, Sauro, Ariane, and Montse that had to leave, and Jasmine for having us today, explaining a little bit what clusters do and how they drive innovation, how they push. I think they're really absolutely necessary and very supportive. Oh, how old is CEBR now? Very young. No, it's been just so you know, it started almost 20 years ago, I would say, as an informal network, and it has grown since then in a formal one about 10 years ago, I would say, and then and now today, very proud to be almost 50 members, I think, by the beginning of next year. So definitely a nice network and amazing people, actually, more than anything. So very happy to manage it. Okay, if you have any other questions that come up,
just one thing I just wanted to say, I forgot.
Yeah.
No, just to say that I will be present at the Genesis conference. So if you want to reach me, to meet me, to discuss with me, I will be happy to. So yeah, just to say.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Okay, so I think we have to go because there's a session at 4, I know. So thank you again, Jasmine. Thank you, Alexis, Sauro, Ariane. And if anything, let us know. Where the website is now on the chat. So if you want to connect with us, don't hesitate to. Thank you so much.
Brilliant.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.